18 has won it, but the 3-year-old 8 on 18 has won the World Sports Betting Cape Town Met under Richard Fourie for Justin Snaith, owned by Nick Johnson and Johan Rupert. But a gamble has been landed, and when I say gamble, a gamble from the perspective that this race was an option but never nailed on.
Where I'm currently situated has got absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with South African horse racing, or any horse racing for that matter. But I can tell you that the person that I'm about to interview is absolutely mad about fishing, and his name is Richard Fourie. He's South Africa's record-holding jockey, and he tells me that the horse I'm going to be talking to him about today, 8 on 18, is in the top 3 horses that he's ever ridden. So let's catch up with Richard Fourie, who I spoke to on Sunday at Turffontein Racecourse, for his view on the career of a horse that might just become one of South Africa's all-time great racehorses. Once in a while, a special horse comes along, and I've been very lucky in my life that I've seen London News, Variety Club, a horse chestnut. I get a feeling in my heart that this could be one of South Africa's next great horses, and you didn't start on his back. It was Grant van Niekerk's task, one of your friends and colleagues. When did you first notice this wonderful son of Lancaster bomber?
Well, it would have been back at home as a very young horse. The youngsters start coming out, and obviously at that time I wasn't a stable jockey or anything of that kind to Snaith Racing. I saw the horse ringing there the one morning, long before I even saw a race course, and I was quite inquisitive, and I said to Justin Snaith, I said, there's a lot of horses we're looking at. I said, but what is that one, So he obviously jumped out. He had a lot of good looks about him, good walker, good attitude, and it just looked interesting. And Justin allowed me to take him down the track, and I came back and I said to him, I think it's exactly what you see is what you're going to get. Everything was just there from the beginning.
Well, Mike de Kock made the statement about horse chestnut. He says it was a no-brainer. Anybody could like horse chestnut. He was just a natural from the beginning. Did you get the same feeling about 8 on 18's looks and then what he showed on the track?
Look, I don't know horse chestnut. He came before my time, and there was a lot of hype about him. And I still watched some replays on horse chestnut with Washong Ming riding him, and he used to absolutely pulverize the fields. And if you want to compare apples with apples, this was obviously did not show that much of his ability, but mostly the good mover that he is. And he's winning big races, just being an absolute puppy stall.
It's never wise to mention any horse in the same breath as horse chestnut, because he's just something extraordinary. But there have been some good horses in our time. Even before horse chestnut time, we had the mighty Wolf Power. We had Empress Club. We've had Variety Club, who was an international superstar that pulverized the best milers in the world. But coming back to my gut feel, that I think that this horse has the potential to go on to the international scale, whichever track, whether it's Europe, whether it's England, whether it's Hong Kong or America. I get the feel that there's still so much meat to work with.
Very much so. When he won the Hollywood Pets Gravel Daily News, I came in and I smiled and I looked down at Mr. Johnson and I said, we are very lucky to have this horse in South Africa, because we all know what he's all about and who he's going to end up. He's just got all the attributes of being a true champion. He's proven it already, and as a 4-year-old, I just think he's just going to explode, and you're going to start seeing more of him and more realistically of what he's all about. He's doing things good now. I took him up the grass yesterday at Summerveld, up the hill, and it's just goosebump stuff. The way he's going on about his business, the way the team is ticking him over, he's just in a very, very good space.
Okay, we're going to get to the plans for the future, which is not necessarily your choice, because at the end of the day, we know Team Snaith, they make the calls, they negotiate with the owners, etc., etc. But When did you notice him on the racetrack? I know that he ran second in his first start with Grant Up. You'd obviously been on his back. Were you expecting him to win first time out, or were you expecting him to pick it up as he went along?
Look, he always felt like a classic horse, you know, and you got to start his career somewhere, and better place to start is down the straight. And you know, he probably was still very soft horse, and he couldn't really go with the speed, and he made up the good ground. So there was a lot of good green flashes of him doing things the right way, where he's going to come from off the speed like real racehorses should. You know, the good ones, they can make up the ground. And you know, just being an absolute puppy at home, he still looks at everything. He can duck and dive, so you got to be cautious when you're on him. So yeah, it's all about, you know, when the penny drops, you're going to see him. So what he did in the Hollywood Pets Daily News, the way he quickened up, it was all good signs. You know, obviously the plan, who knows? Only Mr. Johnson and the whole Snaith racing team will know the plan. I'm just the lucky pilot.
Well, perhaps it would be foolhardy of me not to mention Mr. Johan Rupert at this stage of the game, because he hasn't had too many horses. But I would have to say that this is probably, without any shadow of doubt, the best horse he's ever owned, and might just be the very best, notwithstanding the fact that he might buy something overseas. But you don't get much better than this.
No, exactly. To have Mr. Rupert involved with Mr. Johnson is quite a big attribute, you know, to the racing game. I know Mrs. Rupert is the avid racing lover, and Mr. Rupert, you know, he takes his time. He doesn't really have many, but the ones that he's had has actually all been of quality. But yeah, same feeling. This is definitely his better one.
On the subject of Mrs. Rupert, I don't know whether you ever saw that commercial that she put together for Lancaster Bomber. It was probably the best stallion video I have ever seen in my life, with that plane flying over Drakenstein and the kill strike on the side of the plane. It was quite unbelievable and befitting of a great stallion, which of course he has become, even though he's deceased.
Yeah, look, I didn't see the actual advert, but great loss to the industry. I know most Lancasters that are running are all doing really, really well, so it was a massive loss to the game. But it's nice to have this horse that can win a 1200 and can win a 2200, 2400. So he crosses all the boards. But let's bear in mind, he's a young 3-year-old. We would like him to stick around for as long as we can, but yeah, he's beautiful, and yeah, sad that we don't have his father anymore, but I'm pretty sure the Spirit will fight on in this one.
Okay, so Grant van Niekerk was aboard him in his first two starts. I have absolutely no reason to ask the question, how come you got the ride? But the bottom line is, in his third start, you managed to crack his maiden.
Yeah, look, things happen for a reason. I always say that. Maybe I was just lucky on the time, on the day and the time. I don't know. He might have been suspended or something of that nature. But yeah, got on him and tried never to get off him again.
Okay, so now when I look at his career, he's never been back further than third since then, and his nemesis has been a horse called One Stripe, who's no longer in South Africa. But fair to say that if you look at Mr. Marshall's track record, he is a Guineas specialist. He's a fantastic trainer across the board. He's won Gold Cups and Mets and all races, everything. You can take nothing away from him. But I would have to say that One Stripe was probably just a little bit more on the forefoot than a horse like 8 on 18.
Well, let's go back to the Langeman. I think that will be the perfect example. I rode that same morning One Stripe before, like 2 weeks before the Langeman run, and it was phenomenal. Also had the luxury of sitting on him at home the one day, and I said to Mr. Marshall, I've been around the country the whole time, I haven't seen anything like this. He was just also a professional, really good horse, and he was always going to train on. And you know, being a one will just kicked up the whole breeding industry. There's a lot of hype about him, you know, and the market's there. The guys are really looking after them, or looking for them like crazy. So he's definitely rippled the whole industry, being from Captain L, I think. So yeah, that just makes things interesting. And then that same morning, I took 8 on 18 and came back, and I said to Justin, "You'll definitely run second in this race." And it was just the difference in animal, the one being a lot more on it, whereas the other one was a little bit more on the classic side. So both really, really good horses, and unfortunately, you know, he had an elevated TCO2 on the day and he couldn't run, and we won the Langeman by default. And then when I met in the Guineas, he beat us fair and square. Actually, his horse, One Stripe, was running a little bit to the right of the track, and we went dead straight, and he still managed to beat us. And I remember speaking to the guys at that time with the Langeman. I said, "Look, I think that horse would have beaten us by 5 lengths just based on where they are right now. And I think if Mr. Marshall's horse didn't hang in the Guineas, he would have beaten 8 on 18 by 5 lengths. Saying that, we go 400 meters further. It's two completely different races. It's like the time with Variety Club and Jackson. If they run a mile, Variety will beat him easy. You go 2,000 meters, the roles are reversed. So I think it was going to be something of that nature, because they were both really, really serious individuals.
Mauritius Kestrel in second, Rama Forquez's in third, 8 on 18 to the outside with Talk to the Master, but it's All Out for 6, who continues to roll from Mauritius Kestrel. 8 on 18 continues to whack away. 8 on 18 coming hard at All Out for 6. All Out for 6, 8 on 18 is storming home. 8 on 18 gobbles him up, and he's going to win going away. Smart horse under Richard Fourie, won well.
At this stage of the game, the experts started to cotton on, and I remember speaking to Robert Blimberg, for one person that
Is he the expert?
He absolutely labelled this horse for the Met. He took a big position on the horse. Very, very good, strong form surrounding him in every single sphere that gave him the right to feel that way, and he didn't disappoint.
Yeah, look, Mr. Blimberg is no fool. He knows the industry well. He knows horses well. And, you know, he's won these races in himself as well with horses in the past. So he knows what he's looking for. And when he saw this individual, he latched on, and obviously wants the best for the horse, and wants to see the horse like this do us all proud in South Africa and become a champion.
And they're homeward bound in the Hollywood Bets Cape Guineas, and All Out for 6 has made sure the pace is a good one. Second place is Otsaniqua. Heather's Boy, Yellow Cap is third, On My Honor. Great Plains inside rail, One Stripe in the orange. Got 4 lanes to make up, the pace falls away. Then came Boundless Energy, and after those is 8 on 18. With 300 metres left to run, Heather's Boy. Here's One Stripe towards the outside. On My Honor, 8 on 18 in the middle of the course. Otsaniqua and Great Plains, but One Stripe hit the front. On the inside is 8 on 18. Great Plains was further back. One Stripe nearest us. 8 on 18 runs a big race. One Stripe, 8 on 18. Here's the line. One Stripe earns his stripes. One Stripe, 8 on 18. Great Plains, Otsaniqua, big run in fourth.
Now, I know that Horse Chestnut was the first horse in 47 years to win the Met as a 3-year-old. And the very next year, his stable companion Badger's Coast came to deny El Picha of the famous treble of the July, the Summer Cup and the Met. You know, in the shadow of the post, Guillermo Figueroa gets up. But there weren't too many 3-year-olds up until 8 on 18 won the Met as a 3-year-old that had done exactly what those two had done.
Yeah, look, those are big names, and just for this horse's name to be mentioned in that caliber, you know, it says a lot. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of interest from all over. A lot of guys want to know if he's running in the Hollywood Bets Durban July, yet it's still a mystery for everyone. You know, and only time will tell. Obviously, a lot of decisions to be made, but for the horse's name to be mentioned in the league of all those horses, it's just phenomenal.
at the 500 meters mark, and it's Oriental Charm. He aims for the outside. He's in front by 2, being chased by Magic Verse. Then comes Future Swing in the middle of the course. Red Palace and Monty, and they towards the far side. Rascallion was next. 8 on 18, still got 5 to make up. Atticus Finch and See It Again. Oriental Charm hard up on the outside. Red Palace, Montian, 8 on 18. Then comes Rascallion and See It Again. 150 left to run. Montian running the race of his life. Red Palace and 8 on 18. Oriental Charm, Rascallion, 8 on 18. Ace, 8 on 18 has won it. Second has gone the way of Oriental Charm. See It Again, Rascallion, Montian, all involved for minor money. But the 3-year-old, 8 on 18, gone to grade 1 weight for age level. He gives the one-strap form a massive boost. And it's going to be 8 on 18 who gets the big win in the World Sports Betting Cape Town Met of 2025.
Let's express yourself. He's still 3 lengths in front past the 800. Racing away in second now is Native Ruler. Then comes Dawn Till Dusk. Zeitz is in fourth. Sail the Seas. Garrick's an 8 on 18. They now race in tight quarters. There's all of a sudden only 5 lengths in it. We'll keep watching 8 on 18. He's towards the left-hand side. He's made up stacks of ground. He's come from last and he's just about to hit the front. Garrick's on the inside. They're inside the 350. It's 8 on 18. Garrick's on the inside, Sail the Seas. Further back is Native Ruler, but it's 8 on 18. 8 on 18, he's got a race on his hands. Sail the Seas running a cracker. Garrick's racing in third, but 8 on 18. 8 on 18, the new kid on the block. He's going to win a grade 1, and it's a 5-star performance. 8 on 18 beat Sail the Seas. Then came Garrick's in third and Native Ruler in fourth.
Okay, so now you leave the Western Cape and you travel this well-trodden path that Team Snaith have been so successful over so many years, not least of all do it again, and you line up in the Guineas and your stable companion just has a little bit too much toe, but obviously the Guineas was never going to be the race where you wanted him really switched on.
Yeah, look, if we want to win everything, but I got on to him. He was 15 kilos overweight. He's a big horse, so shy of his best distance. But I think you take him now, run him in that same race after he's had a run or two, the form would have flipped around. You know, he's now a serious horse. He switched on. He's come back from his holiday. It was 4.5 months of vacation, and you know, he's a horse that could easily get bored. So, been very fortunate this season to have Andrew Fortune around there and working him and getting to know him. I think he loves the horse more than me. So, but to have that personal feel, a guy with hands like that, and you know the history and the knowledge of horses, you know, as well as he knows them. Being a trainer himself, not so long ago with his wife, and you know, he knows horses, and that faith of the Team Snaith having in Andrew Fortune to being able to work with this horse and you know, tightening him up and getting him ready, you know, just puts everybody to calm, and the horses come to form, and he's producing some very, very serious runs.
You've picked up on something very, very important for me, because there are not many guys in the history of the game that have done what Andrew Fortune has done, the comeback kid, and ballooned up to 80 kilograms, been a trainer on the ground, still slugging his leg over odd horse just to get a feel. But now he's a dinkum proper jockey, and with so much experience from the sidelines.
No, exactly. He's had his 8 years to recover. You know, he had a bad knee. I know he's an old bully, we'll call him. You know, he's 58 years old, but the knowledge and the hands that he has, you can't buy that. That's just natural. So just having him around and doing what he's doing alone is just, it's incredible.
On my honour, behind that cat's pyjamas is Ivavani. It's still Cosmic Speed at the 300, Sail the Seas, and 8 on 18's trying to put it together. Cosmic Speed still leads it. Sail the Seas is trying hard on the inside, 8 on 18, but it's come down now to Cosmic Speed and Sail the Seas over the last 100. Sail the Seas takes it up, 8 on 18's trying. Sail the Seas won it. Maybe 8 on 18 second, and then Cosmic Speed, and on my honour.
So now you come to the Daily News 2000, and it was a small field. I'm on one or two groups, and people were saying, "Why is the field so small?" I said, "People, don't you understand merit rate? They're scared. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, they're going to get penalised.
Absolutely, as many horses did.
Okavango.
Yeah, proper.
15 pounds for running third. You know, so you got to be like you're crazy to run against him in those sort of races. So yeah, he will chase away a lot of people. He's so high up in the handicap, he can only carry 57. He's capped there.
Yeah.
So it puts every other horse, you know, back in danger again. So yeah, they might get a couple of kilos from him, but you're taking on a horse that's 5-6 months older to the one that you saw in Cape Town. So it's never going to be easy.
The manner in which he switched on coming around the bend was eye-popping.
Yeah, look, it was a very good practice, I must say. You know, from the first time riding him there in that mile, we couldn't quite go with him. And then the Daily News, a much better horse, much fitter. I left him alone by design, small field. So I thought, you know, I can make up 10 lengths. Now I only need to make up 3. So I started getting a little bit uncomfortable as we approached home. I saw a lot of guys coming off the bit, and I'm starting to gain onto the bridle, and I allowed him to swoop, and that's the sort of turn of foot you can expect from him.
Terrific turn of foot, hits the front at the 300, and 8 on 18 is looking to feed his focus. Native Rulers running on late on, but it's 8 on 18. They executed this with military precision, and he's waking up the stars by 4. Spumante Dolce second, Okavango.
I made myself a promise before we met today that I would not ask you the question about the July. You've inadvertently swooped over it. But the point is that to go from 2,000 metres back to 1,800 metres for the Champions Cup, yes, he will be another 4 weeks older than he was if he'd have run in the July. But the point is that Mr. Rupert might not have an opportunity to run this horse in the July, and we all know that it's a much bigger field, that the conditions might not favour him in terms of the handicapping. But when there is so much petrol in the tank, I would think that you probably do have to take that chance. And this is not putting you in any kind of predicament.
100%. Yeah, look, I've looked at it. I looked at the weights, and the 3-year-olds carrying 117 handicap, they the baseline. So they the 53s. And then same with the older horses, 117 carries 55. So big of a stretch. The top weight bar 8 on 18 is 127. So there's 3 horses at this moment that's carrying top weights, and then the rest is all Constantine down. And you know, 8 on 18 is carrying 57. That's the maximum he can get. And I think when he ran in the Met, it was either 54 or 55. So
Wait for age,
6 months ago, and you know, I'm actually getting weight at handicap because I'm 4 pounds better off, or 2 pounds better off at weight for age, plus the cap. So I think it's like 4 kilos. So I think I might only be giving 1 kilo weight to the horse that I think we all need to beat, Oriental Charm.
Okay, well, let's throw the cat amongst the pigeons, because that is the horse that I was going to touch on right now, because we take a look at the Hollywood Bets Gold Challenge, where the horse that ran in the money, in the guineas, ran to his form. Sean Terry's horse, Cosmic Speed, I think it is.
Yeah.
Oriental Charm was so gutsy, so incredibly gutsy, as was Dave the King, and that usual late flurry from Stuart Ferry's horse was also very impressive, and looks like he might be able to get 2-2. But that's the first time that the 3-year-olds haven't dominated in an older race. Is it because it was a mile, or what was it? Because there have been a good few 3-year-olds that have won big races in Johannesburg and in Cape Town at weight for age.
Yeah, true. They can win that race. They're actually well weighted into it. But Dave the King is no laughing stock. I rode him last season. He just went a little bit off the boil coming into the season here in the Highveld, and he sort of went a little bit missing. But then
Masterful training feat to get him back.
Yeah, with Mike and Matthew the Cock, they brought him back, and it's like that horse comes well this time of the year. So still a scary horse for the Champions Cup. He won well, but like I said, Oriental Charm, gutsy, long layoff, comes and nearly wins the race. Definitely a horse to be scared of.
You know, those Crawfords have got that recipe down to a fine art coming from Joburg.
Very true. So that's James Crawford's doing. So I know he's a youngster, but he's done really, really well for himself, and he's really building up a nice reputation for himself. His dad's gone away, so he's got the reins now, and he won't disappoint.
I guess so. Now, to put the lid on it, I could sit here and talk to you easily for another hour,
Whole day.
but the whole day. But could this horse, 8 on 18, be the best horse that you've ever ridden on, potentially?
Definitely in my top 3 right now. He's proven himself, but I know I'm just excited to see what he does as a 4-year-old at weight for age. And maybe they decide to take him overseas, and then that will really just press on and put him in that place where I think he belongs.
Final question. He's way ahead of Do It Again at this stage of his career, according to Lennon Maharaj, who I've got huge respect for. And I think that just about says it all for the longevity that Pocket Power and Do It Again had. I mean, this is a horse for the ages, really.
Yeah, Do It Again, one of a kind. I don't think we'll ever see one of him again. To run 4 Julys and never be out the money. Brilliant. This horse, he's hard as nails, and he's got a very, very bright future.